And last but not least,
Certainly not least.
I feel indebted to Senator Foster's husband for retiring because really I would have been the logical one to cut out because everybody else had won an election, and so I paid Steve a lot of money to retire and to harass Joyce into traveling with him. And in fact, I think they're at her 50th high school reunion right now, or else she would have been here. My district actually changes in a couple of ways. First of all, there are parts, if you look way down there in the southwest, there are parts down there that you probably all thought were Littleton that are actually Denver, and that's where my aide Susan lives. Where are you, Susan? Susan was really worried because she was almost in Mike Kopp's district, so I get to keep southwest Denver. And then as Lucia mentioned, I go a little bit further north on the west side. Instead of cutting off at Florida, I go up a few more blocks to Mississippi. But the biggest change for me is that I lose Congress Park and I lose some of Country Club North. I do get to keep Washington Park, and I gain from Senator Foster this area that we're in right now, which is great because I've been coming here for your meetings and I like all the people in this district already, so it's great for me. And I head all the way east to I-25, and so I'll be picking up Observatory Park, and I don't even know, this is all Observatory to Colorado, I believe, right? So it'll expand in that way, and then I'll lose some up north. I had to gain about 16,000 lives, and with that expansion, it allowed me to do that, and it had me not going quite so far north. My southern border, for those of you who know the areas in the south, is Bowles Avenue, and I went as far as Colfax, and so now I'll only go to First Avenue. So that'll cut me off a little bit north-south and make my compactness better. And my demographics actually stay the same as Representative Court mentioned. If you're in Denver, you're usually in good shape unless you have a Democratic primary. And in terms of votes and registered voters in 2010, it'll be about 58% Democrat, 37% Republican, and the rest will be unaffiliated. And in terms of how people voted about 60% Democrat. So as long as I don't make you guys too angry, and as long as no one decides to primary me, hopefully I'll be in good shape to continue the work I've gotten to start this past year. Thank you. Any questions for me?
So, Senator, you don't stand for election again for another 5 years.
No, because I was selected to fill a vacancy, I have to run the first time there's a general election. So I will be running next November 2012 for the remaining 2 years of this current seat. And then I'll run again in 2014 for another 4 years. Okay. So I do have to run in, and thank you for saying that, because on September 20th, I'm going to be having a campaign kickoff event in part of my new Senate District 32, which is at the Blue Bonnet over there on South Broadway, just south of Alameda. And we'll be out on the patio there, and I invite everyone to come, because that's when I'll be looking for people to help me walk districts and start campaigning.
Well, okay, so then you are the right person to ask this. So, Senator Carter had been saying about how, he's going to have to kind of start weaning the Adams County folks off and kind of start getting known about. How hard is that now to be, where your district that you're currently representing is so different? How can you start campaigning before, when are these things supposed to be finalized?
Yeah. So they'll be finalized before caucus in next January, February of 2012, or March. And I'm actually sort of lucky, because unlike these guys who've done a lot of work already in their existing district, I really just ran a vacancy campaign and worked with about 155 precinct committee people. And just by luck of the draw, the areas I've already focused on are areas that are still in my district. And so because I have so many areas to cover, I can still work on the areas that are in my district that I've never been to before having to worry about the parts that I add on. And geographically, actually, I don't, compared to what some other people do, like Senator Stedman, I don't add on that much more than I haven't really done much in North between in Congress Park or Cheeseman Park already. So the work I've done there isn't anything new or different for me. It's going to be more difficult for people like this who already have relationships in those areas and have to go and start somewhere brand new.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
What neighborhoods is that small part of 26
That's sticking up. That's actually still Englewood.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's in there. Yeah. There's a small piece of Englewood that goes to the north side of 285.
What are the rules for incumbent senators whose terms are not up? Maybe I ought to ask Senator Stedman.
And actually, Jerry Blake could give you the best answer, but no, that's a great question. And actually, that's not me.
First one.
Because actually, I'm up for election next year. I went through the same process Senator Aguilar did a couple years ago, where I was put in by vacancy, and so I had to run in the 2010 election for the remaining 2 years of the term. And now next year, I'm going to stand for election for a regular 4-year term, which would then be my final term. I'd be term limited. But there are senators who are mid-term and not up for election, and they have a constitution. They were elected to a 4-year term in the Senate, and so they're there for 4 years. And so the map has to be drawn for those that have more years to go to continue to represent a district. It may be differently configured, but they have to have a district because they have a constitutional right to serve 4 years in the Senate.
Jerry, so it is unconstitutional to put 2 midterm senators in the same district?
Yes,
Okay, that's all I need to know.
the court would not approve that.
Okay, thank you.
And Senator Johnston doesn't have to run
No,
next
he's
year,
the
or
same
does
as
he?
I am.
He's the same as you are. So the only Denver senator who isn't on the ballot next year is Senator Guzman, but every House member, because we have to run every 2 years anyway.
Jerry?
So every House member, and the only seat that doesn't have an incumbent in Denver is 9, House District 9, because Joe McCloskey is running for Congress. So that is the only open seat as far as no incumbent of all the Denver House seats.
In the same vein,